Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday sacked Defence Minister Yoav Gallant, triggering mass protests a day after Gallant broke ranks with the government and urged a halt to a highly contested plan to overhaul the judicial system. Police scuffled with protesters outside Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem on Sunday, the Associated Press reported, while others gathered near the Defence Ministry in Tel Aviv in support of ousted Minister Yoav Gallant and against Netanyahu. They spilled out into the road, waving Israeli flags and blocking traffic. Israeli media reported that protests were taking place in more than 150 locations. As anger mounted, a group of universities announced that they would go on strike from Monday morning, and Israel's Consul General in New York resigned in protest. Meanwhile, Israel's president also called on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the legislative process immediately, as the PM triggered widespread protests and a national strike by sacking his defense minister for objecting to judicial reforms. President Isaac Herzog, the head of the state who is supposed to remain above politics, said, "The eyes of the whole world are on you," following the PM's dismissal of Yoav Gallant on Sunday. In announcing Gallant's dismissal, Netanyahu's office did not name a replacement nor give any other details. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has decided this evening to dismiss Defence Minister Yoav Gallant, it said. Shortly afterward, Gallant64 wrote on Twitter, "The state of Israel's security has always been and will always be my life's mission." The developments followed a statement from the Prime Minister's office late Sunday saying Netanyahu had dismissed Gallant less than a day after the defense chief defied the premier by taking to the airwaves and calling for a long pause to the controversial legislation. Netanyahu made the decision to sack Gallant after the former Navy admiral warned on Sunday that the overhaul plans risked a clear, immediate and tangible threat to the security of the state and called for them to be halted. As protesters poured into the streets, police used water cannons to push them back from Netanyahu's residence in Jerusalem, while in Tel Aviv, where hundreds of thousands have taken to the streets since the beginning of the year, protesters lighted a large bonfire on the main highway. Netanyahu's proposal has sharply divided Israeli society, battered markets, and left the country increasingly isolated diplomatically. Long-time allies, including the US, UK, Germany, and France, have argued that a fully independent and strong judiciary is vital to a functioning democracy. The proposed legislation is split up into a series of bills. Two key members of Netanyahu's Likud party said that while a pause might be preferable, they plan to support the latest bill when it comes up for a vote that is expected to pass this week. The law will give politicians a dominant role in selecting judges, including High Court justices, a change from the current system where sitting justices and members of the legal profession hold sway. The bill's proponents say that in nearly early democracy, winners of elections get to select judges, and they are bringing Israel in lines with that practice. Its opponents, and they include hundreds of thousands of weekly street demonstrators as well as business, professional and military leaders, say that it will concentrate too much power in the hands of the ruling party, damaging the democracy. It was not immediately clear whether the protests would impact the government's tactics. At least 3 Likud members said publicly that it was time to re-evaluate their strategy and they would support halting the legislation if Netanyahu decided to do so. The head of the military committee deciding on the legislation said that discussions would continue on Monday. The crisis came as Israel's security establishment has been bracing for potential violence in the coming weeks as the Muslim holy month of Ramzan overlaps with the Jewish Passover and the Christian Easter celebration.